Hi, welcome to my pitch for Kidnapped. That's the working title for the film. Our roles and responsibilities for the films are Thomas Joy is our director, I'm the assistant director and script supervisor, Oliver Kent-Ledger is our cameraman, and Jane is our DOP, and she will be working on sound and lighting. At the moment, we don't really have any actors. We've contacted Akar for a jar, and we need to get back to him, but he's still to be confirmed. The outline of the film is the man wakes up in an abandoned shack. He's bound and gagged. He has a couple cuts on him and bruised. It looks like someone's beaten him. And there's another body in the room with him in a body bag. There's also a knife in the room covered in blood. The man comes to the conclusion of that he's not the first person to be in a situation similar to this. A hooded man appears, and it turns out to be a kidnapper, the man's kidnapper. The man, a little bit later on, the man finds an opportunity to escape, and he does manage to escape, but he finds out he's in the woods. He has to escape before the kidnapper can find him, so now it's become a game of life or death, and he's now being hunted by the kidnapper. At the end of the film, you see the exit, and you see the man's getting closer and closer to it when the kidnapper does finally catch up with him, and then it's all left down to speculation. Does the man escape? Does he get killed? And then, from my focus group and my questionnaires, I found out my primary target audience were males from the age of 16 to 19, and on the socioeconomic scale, they are rated from E to C2. All my results show that my primary audience live in suburban areas. My secondary audience would be college peers that would willingly come along and come and watch it. Content for audience. Since this is for a horror festival called Fright Fest, the content for audience is going to be, we're going to show the audience that we can understand what they like in a horror film, in a short horror film, whether that be they like more suspense than dialogue, or if they prefer showing, not telling, if they prefer not to see the killer. By understanding what the audience wants, we can make the best product for them. Our resources, the equipment we're going to need is a Canon XF100, a tripod, a boom pole, windbreaker, and the props we'll need are a bin bag, fake blood, cable ties, duct tape, and a prop knife. Our budget, because we're using the college's equipment, we don't really have a budget for like the equipment and stuff. Well, we don't need one because it's all for free. But we've come to the conclusion that £20 for the props should be more than enough. I've done some research on how much the rental would be cost if we did have to rent out the equipment. It's all on this table here. Our schedule and time scale. We start our pre-production on the 21st of April, and we finish roughly around 6th of May. We will be using lesson times, Oliver's, Kelly's and Natalie's lessons for the pre-production. And then we will move on to production on Friday the 13th, and we will finish filming roughly on the 20th of May. Post-production starts on the 23rd of May, but since we have a half term then, we're going to have a rough screening just before the half term, but say if there's any points like during the rough edit that there could be some extra shots added in, we have the half term as a sort of extra time to get any extra bits in, and so the half term is just basically a saviour if we need to redo anything. That's it. Thank you for listening. Is there any questions?
So when's the final deadline?
The final deadline is actually on the 9th of June. I'm pretty sure, because I took off a day for that, because for the post-production or stuff like that, for the evaluation and stuff, it was either a day or two I took off, because I'm going to want to have it early, so if we need to re-evaluate anything, the work, so we have that extra time to help us.
Because you know there's a it's being screened, right, at the...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you've mentioned that you've got half term as a contingency. Are you going to have a rough cut ready, or...?
Well, yeah, we're going to have a rough cut ready, because the day before half term, the day we actually go on half term, if I remember correctly, we are doing the roughs, like a screening for a rough edit for the films. I believe it was on the Friday lesson we're showing them. So if there's any point saying the film is, say, a minute long, too long, then we can kind of have the half term to kind of say, okay, we need to come in on Monday, we need to find a ways to make the film shorter, or we need to make it longer, or whatever else we need to do.
Are you going to show your film to the target audience? Is that the plan?
Yes.
So you're going to show a rough cut? Yeah.
My target audience is pretty much everyone in our class, as they're in that age range of 16 to 19.
Okay. One of the tasks is to actually do a review of how you think you've met the target audience's needs.
Yeah.
So it'll be a good opportunity to do it then in
Yeah.
a rough cut. Okay, thank you.